you in a short while. Where is the video? Hello, hi everyone. How are you? Hi, Seraphine. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi, Spedin. Spedin, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
She must be wondering, hey, how come she's here? Grabbed by Papa. Forced to conduct an interview together. Okay, so today we are very blessed to have Spedin the corgi with us. Okay, so to the audience out there, if you hear barking, I'm so sorry. Sometimes you can get a bit buckish. Okay, so let me quickly do a quick introduction, okay, about today's objective. Okay, so this is the series of support of Ace Your Econs. My name is Jeffrey. I'm the Chief Educator of Ace Your Econs, Singapore's most practice-driven econs tuition center. So support of Ace Your Econs is a community event we have established to support our A-level community to help them succeed even beyond A-levels. So in this series, we'll be inviting experts to share tips on how to succeed in A-levels and identifying career choices. So to parents and students watching this, please help to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can receive the latest upcoming updates on interviews. Please also share this live event with your friends, family, colleagues, so they can benefit from the collective wisdom of our experts. And don't remember to say hi, or rather, don't forget to say hi and remember to have fun for the next 60 minutes. So today we have Seraphine with us. Seraphine, say hi. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Right, Seraphine, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So Seraphine is an academic manager from Aureus Consulting, a boutique firm that has been consulting since 2009. So up to date, they have coached more than 2,000 individuals to realize their education dreams and gain entry into 150 renowned institutions worldwide. To stand out from the thousands of university and scholarship applicants, their clients work closely with them to devise an intelligent approach that demonstrates a strong personal brand in each component of the application process. So personally, Seraphine has 20 years background in English teaching and communications to coach individuals to succeed in their academic journey. She's proficient in using teaching academic English, and her dynamism is infectious. So Seraphine is keenly interested in bringing out the best in her clients. So she aims to do so by communicating effectively, being meticulous, being precise, and adapting in challenging situations. So I have a challenging situation right now, Seraphine. I forgot to ask. I forgot that I need a key info from you. So maybe you would like to share, okay, with our audiences, one fun fact about yourself.
Okay. So, something that is not work related at all is I love to feed people. That's my favorite thing to do outside of work.
Love to feed means you can cook very well, is it?
Yes.
Wow.
I love throwing dinner parties, and I used to host supper clubs before COVID hit. So COVID kind of like killed my groove a little bit.
All right. So how big is your supper club? Just curious.
Well, it's a very small private dining session.
Right.
I used to have 6 guests because that was how big my dining table was. And I would put together 4 or 5 course dinners, usually pub grub type menus, sometimes Asian menus as well. all
Wow.
of my local favorite dishes. My best
Right.
thing is Hokkien mee.
Oh,
That's
my
my
favorite.
favorite thing to make.
Wow. It makes me hungry. I just had my dinner, but every time I hear local delicacies like this, wow, I can salivate. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what I love to do.
Right, right. Thanks a lot for sharing. So Seraphine here can cook very well. So on top of advising you guys on scholarship application, hey, please check her out. All right. So we will be moving on to the next segment. So to our audiences out there, okay, if you are watching, okay, or if you like what we are doing, okay, please give us a thumbs up on what we are doing, like our video and share the video, okay, to friends, family, colleagues who can benefit from today's interview. So, Seraphine, okay, I'm just curious, how do you get started in consulting?
Right. So my background, my educational background is actually in mass comm, right?
Right,
So
right,
before I went into education, um, I did marketing, public relations, advertising.
right,
Um, but then after that, I went into education and I specialized in teaching of English, mainly because I couldn't teach anything else. I am so not a maths or science person. But to be honest, language acquisition, especially in English, it came very naturally to me. So it was easy.
right,
So over the years, I've taught all levels of English, primary, secondary, even up to tertiary, teaching academic English. Um, and I think I just needed, I wanted to do something different, but yet still education related, tying in all my skills. And I think I was very lucky to chance upon a position at Aureus Consulting. And, I got accepted and I've been doing well. So I really enjoy helping our clients. And when you hear that the efforts that you put in result in your client getting into their school of choice and their program of choice, you actually see how your efforts and you working together with a client result in something successful. So that to me is wow. I mean, when I found out that my first client got into their program of choice, it was exhilarating, and it gives you a certain high, which I think normal teaching does. I don't get that same feeling.
right. So, hey, thanks for sharing. So, sorry to interject this. For the viewers out there, okay, I just want to put it on the record. Listen carefully. That okay, this interview is not sponsored by Aureus Consulting. Okay, so we are inviting Seraphine just here, okay, on the sole purpose, okay, to share her passion on how she helped her clients to succeed and get into their local universities through scholarship application. So this is not a sponsored episode. So that being said, Seraphine, hey, maybe you can share with us, okay, what is a typical, or rather, what is a typical day like in Aureus Consulting in what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Okay. So I think there are, because we are a small organization, we are involved in different aspects of the business. But I think what would be specific would be specifically of interest to your audience would be our admissions consulting. So let's say we have several clients who come in, they need help with their university applications as well as their scholarship applications. So they come to us, and depending on how how much help they need, we will help them from crafting their personal brand, putting their personal statements together, working on building their portfolios, as well as preparing them for interviews when they get shortlisted. And yeah, so it's quite dynamic. We're always constantly engaged in something, and there's usually very little downtime with what we do.
Right. So am I right to interpret it this way that the working profile or the timing is actually quite similar to tutors like myself, right? So we only get to see students during evenings or primarily weekends. It's a weekend job, right?
Yes, so we do a lot of our coaching in the evenings and at the weekends, but sometimes we have clients, especially the guys who are doing national service, depending on the vocation that they've been assigned to. Some of them do like 3 days on, 2 days off, that kind of thing. So they do have sessions with us during the day, but very rare.
So it's primarily weekends. I
Mm,
see, I see, I see. All right. So we brought up something very interesting about NS. Okay, so
mm,
NS is also NS students is some a group of students that we also support, especially private candidates. Okay, but
mm.
I think the profile is slightly different. Okay, for
Yes.
NS people who engage you guys, they're pretty much going to a local you already. Okay, so
Mm,
if there are any NS guys who are watching this, all right, and you have a question regarding on how to balance, okay, your NS duties as well as applying for scholarship, okay, this is the best time to tap onto Seraphine. Okay, please make sure you drop a comments below, okay, and Seraphine will get to you. All right, so before we move on to this next segment, okay, Spadin the Corgi is here to say hi again. Hi everyone, hello. Okay, if you know myself, if you know Spadin, okay, please wave to us, say hi, like our video, right? Give Spadin a thumbs up. Okay, she's here, you know, and she's dying to get down. I'm gonna put her down. And yes, okay, if you like what we do, okay, please give us a thumbs up, like our video. Okay, and we appreciate that. Okay, so we will be moving on to the highlights of today. Okay, so specifically for the viewers out there, okay, this is your best time to ask any questions. Don't reserve. Okay, if not questions in the future is going to be a paid section or segment, right? So make use of this opportunity, okay, to ask Seraphine anything that you want to find out about scholarship. So we have the 3 tips to build a portfolio for scholarship first. Okay, and just now behind the stage, okay, I was actually sharing with Seraphine, or I was asking her a question. If I'm not wrong, what was the question? Oh yes, oh yes. Do we need H3? Okay, H3 subjects, okay, for scholarship application? And I personally I wasn't very sure as well, but I wanted to debunk the myth on air. All right, so Seraphine, okay, before I move on to the 3 tips, okay, I would like to tap onto your expertise here, right? So H3, okay, are they necessary to get into to secure a scholarship?
wow, that's a really tough question, to be honest. Um,
Started off with a tough question.
obviously, stress.
Oops.
Obviously, it helps, right? Anything that boosts or bolsters your application is good, right? However, having said that, with scholarship applications, your academic achievements are not the be all and end all. They want to see how you contribute in other aspects, especially to the greater good of society. So, if your focus is only on your academic achievements and you neglect the other aspect, then it doesn't matter how many H3 subjects you have. Uh, it doesn't count, to be honest.
Right. So are there other cases or other cases where let's use this hypothetical scenario. So case A, case student has a H3 has a secured H3 subjects. So case B, student has no H3 subject, but like what you mentioned, they are more vested in other activities that help to build their personal brand,
Mm,
or rather strategic activities that you will be sharing later on. Okay,
mm,
so based on these 2 profile, what are the likelihood securing a scholarship for both of these? Which one of these are likely, or which one of the two is likely to secure a better chance of
Okay.
scholarship?
I don't think you can jump from that to the end, right? There
Right.
are different steps along the way. Having the H3 might be equivalent to having a really good portfolio, and then it gets your foot in the door and it helps you get selected for round 2. But after that, the interviews and whatever other psychometric tests that they might ask you to do, or any other interview steps that might be, all those are going to play a bigger part in helping you secure the scholarship.
Right. So based on my understanding, it's more of a sequence, right? So having a H3 is just like opening the door.
Correct.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, so if don't have H3 means that pardon me for asking so directly. If the candidate doesn't have H3, it means that he has a lower success rate of opening the door.
No, I don't think so. I think they look at things quite holistically for scholarships.
Right.
They want to see an all-rounded candidate. There are so many other qualities that they will look out for.
Right. All right. So sorry for jumping the gun, because I do realize that there are some duplication or things that you'll be sharing later on. So probably right at the end, can we see if you have time to route back to this topic?
Sure. Sure.
Okay, so Seraphine, what's the first tip that you have for our audiences today?
Right. So the first thing that I think is so important is for anybody who's considering applying for a scholarship to thoroughly research the organization. It isn't just about applying to one organization. You might be considering a few. Now, when it comes to thinking about a scholarship, especially if it's a government scholarship, you need to decide whether or not you're going to fit into that organization later on, because there is a bond and you might have to serve anywhere between 3 to 6 years, depending on if it's a local course or an overseas course. If you don't think that you're going to fit into that organization's culture, then really think about whether or not you want to apply for that scholarship. If you don't know whether or not you want to be locked in, then there are other organizations, not government related, but they might have scholarships that are not bonded. So do your homework and really think about the responsibilities that you have to fulfill after you finish your education and after the organization has invested all of that money in you. Of course, there are certain things that all organizations look out for. But if you look through their website, speak to people whom you know work in that organization, find out about their culture, find out about how they work, and find out what expectations they have of their scholars. Because if there isn't a match, then having to ride out that bond period might be quite painful. And it will also determine how you put your portfolio together. So, when we go into the later points, I'll give you a bit more tips on that. But generally, know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
So you brought up the key thing about knowing the culture and speaking to previous scholars who were from there. So what if the student, being a student, doesn't have access to all these? Google is only going to help us to to see the surface. What if I don't have access to people who's working in the organization or seniors who previously got a scholarship from them? What can they do to find out about culture and establish a right fit?
I think you'd be surprised at how much information you can find online.
Right.
Look at Reddit.
Right.
Reddit is a huge resource. And speak to an expert, right? Your schools have school counselors who are able to assist you with that. If not, consider engaging a consultant or a coach to help you. So it's not a case of if I don't know anybody, then I'm stuck and I cannot apply for a scholarship. Sometimes you've got to be really resourceful, and call. Call the hotline and see whether there's somebody you could speak to. Sometimes on the agency websites, the government agency websites, when they post about their scholarships, they do sometimes have testimonials of their scholars. Okay, so if you can track their names, and if you can find them on LinkedIn, because everybody's on LinkedIn, write them a
Right.
really nice email and say, hey, I saw your profile on the website. Would you be able to give me some information about the scholarship? So it's all about being resourceful, using your smarts, being a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes, right?
Right.
And
Hello.
getting that information.
Right. So to the students out there, okay, to quickly sum up what Seraphine and Sherry has just shared, Ready is your best friend. Okay, if not, okay, can CSI go to their website, okay, find out previous track records or testimonials, okay, from past scholars, okay, and track them down with LinkedIn, right? Add them as a friend and drop them a message. Ask them politely, okay, on how their experience with this specific organization. And are there any questions that they should be specific about, or any aspect that they should be very specific in asking?
Obviously, you want to establish a good relationship with the person first. You
Right.
don't want to bombard them and interrogate them. Just
Yeah, right.
just be very polite, introduce yourself, and suss them out to see whether, okay, I think express your interest and say, I'm very interested to find out more. Would you be willing to share that information with me? And then see what the response is, rather than scaring the person and sending one whole list of questions
Right.
before you know whether or not they're ready to help you.
Right. So it's always, seeking permission first, lah. Right.
Yes, correct.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I believe it comes from experience, right? Okay, because
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
I do know of some of my ex-students also, it's not that they're intentional. Okay, maybe they are just too
Correct.
overly excited. They cannot
Yes.
contain their excitement. Oh, we
Yes.
finally found someone.
I think there is a certain protocol and etiquette that comes with experience. I'm very sure if it were me, 20, 30 years ago, I might have bombarded the person, but you can Google how to approach somebody on LinkedIn, and you'll be surprised at the tips that you might find. So I Google everything. Google's my best friend.
Right. So establishing basic etiquette, okay, is the key lah. Is the key. All right. So hey, thank you for sharing, okay, the part about researching on the specific organization, okay, specifically government stat boards or the government scholarships that you are going to apply for. Okay, so to the viewers out there, okay, thank you for taking precious time off to join us this evening together with Seraphine. We appreciate your time a lot. Okay, so if you like what we are doing, okay, to give back to the A-level community, please give us a thumbs up, like the video, okay, and share the video to a friend who can benefit, okay, from this scholarship portfolio building. Okay, and lastly, okay, if you know myself or Spadin, okay, remember to say hi. She has been stuck here for the past 30 minutes with us. I got to put her on the floor already. If not, she'll be very, very upset. I think she wants to get down. I've been doing a silent woofing, right? Okay, so let me put her down on the floor. Okay, let's go. Be good, Spadin. All right. So, Seraphine, we'll be moving on to the second segment. Okay, for the viewers out there, this is your best chance to ask Seraphine a question regarding scholarship, regarding portfolio building, anything under the sun that's related to scholarship. Okay, please step onto her today. So, Seraphine, what do you have for us for point 2?
So for the second tip is identify your personal brand.
Right.
Now, from my experience, not many people understand or fully understand and appreciate the importance of a personal brand. Sometimes we have clients come to us with a whole string of accomplishments and achievements, and they don't know what to do with them. So the personal brand is about fully understanding who you are, what you bring to the table, and understanding the values and the attributes and your skills that you have, and knowing how to package them in a way that would be marketable to your potential scholarship board. And your personal brand is so useful throughout your application process. You need it not just for your university application, you need it also for your scholarship application, for your job applications later on as well. Because when you have a very distinct and defined brand, people will be able to see it at every stage of your scholarship application. So they will see it in the activities that you've done. They will see it in your personal statement. They will see it in your interview. And later on, when they offer you that scholarship, you finish your education, you come back and you serve the organization, they will see that personal brand demonstrated throughout. So the personal brand gives you the foundation of who you are, what you bring to the table, and basically they need to see that who you say you are is exactly what is demonstrated in the quality of work that you produce.
Right. So, before we go in, because branding itself can really seem quite daunting and quite abstract. So, maybe is there an example that you can share with us on a brand, how to craft a personal brand for a student who is totally clueless about building what are the areas that they should look out for?
So, what you need to look out for obviously would be not just your grades, all your school activities, your personal values, what is important to you, also your work experiences, your internships, and the transferable skills that you have picked up from these internships or job experience. I think it is so you could have, let's say, 2 or 3 people in your class. Let's say you've been classmates from primary school all the way to junior college, and you think, oh, how am I different from my friend? We've done the same CCAs, we've studied the same subjects, and we both want to do the same course at university. How am I different from my friend? And the thing is, no 2 people are exactly the same. Right? Your upbringing, your family, your friends outside of school, all these experiences contribute to who you are. And also your takeaways from everything that you've experienced makes a difference as well. Does that make sense?
Right. It's your personal experience and how do you
Correct.
contextualize them.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So, am I right to say that we have to start by asking our friends? Probably they are they are more.
Ah, so, one thing that is so important is being authentic, being true to yourself, right?
Right.
Uh, Sometimes it's tough when, let's say, you've got parents who want certain things for you. They want you to go be doctor, you want you to go be lawyer, but that is not who you are. So, how do you then go to them and tell them, I don't want to be a doctor and I don't want to be a lawyer, right? No, you have to. But why? You can't even uh, articulate to them what it is you want to do. So how are you going to tell them what the alternative is? Now, if you had a very strong personal brand, you know exactly who you are, you know what your interests are and what you want to do with your life. And if you go to your parents and you say, no, I don't want to be a lawyer, I don't want to be a doctor, that is not my area of interest, and you are able to articulate exactly what it is you want to do and why you want to do it because you have a strong personal brand, I think that carries more weight than just saying no.
Right. So, having to, is really to sit down, distill about what where do you aspire to go, and having our parents as a litmus test, right? If you're able to persuade them, you're likely to persuade people on board or on the government board that why are you the best fit candidate? Am I right to say that?
Okay, so it's like being authentic and true to yourself.
Authenticity, right?
Yes, correct. So you need to be real, right? So there's a very fine line between uh, being very confident of your achievements and confident in saying that you have done well, being confident in talking about what makes you fantastic, and then you cross the line into bragging and tooting your own horn. That's completely different. That's not authentic at all. Okay? So the thing is this, right? If you are not able to talk about your achievements and be proud of your achievements, how are you going to convince the scholarship board that you're great and that they should give you the scholarship?
Right. Right. So just now, I think you struck the chord, bringing the A word that's very powerful, which is authenticity, right? And not crossing the line. So from I don't know, okay, but from your experience, okay, the experience I had when I interact with my students is they are I don't see a lot of them crossing or being to the Haolian or to the bragging side lah. Okay, but do you observe that on your own end, or you have to pull them back
Mm,
whenever?
okay, no. I think more often than not, Asians especially, we tend to be more modest and more
Modest,
cautious about talking about all the fantastic things we've done and all our achievements.
right,
If we're good, say we're good. Okay, no need to be shy.
right. So to the viewers out there, okay, specifically those who's looking to apply for a scholarship, okay, remember to be authentic, okay, and really reflect on yourself or what are your past achievements, and don't be shy, okay, to talk about them, right? So it's about selling yourself as well, right?
Yes,
Right,
yes, absolutely. If you cannot sell yourself, then how are you going to convince the scholarship board to award you the scholarship?
right. If you cannot even convince, you cannot even sell yourself, okay, how will people be sold by you? Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, it reminds me of doing sales. Okay, it's just that other the product that you are selling is yourself. Why am I
Exactly.
why am I the best fit candidate for your organization?
Yes.
Okay, why not others? Why me? Wow. So they must be prepared to answer all this, huh? Okay, and they must
Yes.
distill. Right.
Yes.
So for the viewers out there, okay, you guys have quite an uphill task, okay, to really reflect on your past achievements and really to not to be shy, okay, and to really sell yourself, sell your achievements, and convince, okay, the scholarship board that you are the best fit choice, not the rest.
Oh, so Dennis Cheng has got a very interesting question. He says, "Hi, can you provide some examples of personal brand?" Okay, let me use myself. Okay, so earlier on, Jeffrey said that I am dynamic, right? And I
Right,
would
dynamic.
like to believe, I say I have dynamism, right? That is the profile that I gave him. And I would like to believe that speaking to you now, I have been dynamic. Yes, hopefully, right?
Right.
And another big thing about myself is I am big on integrity. I pride myself as having integrity and having integrity in all aspects of my life, not just at work, but in personal life as well. Now, an example of having integrity at work would be if I've made a mistake, I will own up to having made a mistake and I will accept the consequences and I will do whatever I can to repair the damage that I've done. So, whatever I claim, I make sure that I see it through. So, I hope that answers your question, Dennis.
All right. So probably from Danny's perspective, it's probably whatever they have written on your resume, your personal statement. Okay, you have to walk your talk. Okay, and
Exactly.
when you are having a panel interview, and when they ask you questions, okay, your values, okay, have to be consistent with what they've written. Am I right to say that?
Yes, absolutely. So if you claim that you have done this activity, that activity, another activity, and during the interview they ask you about that and you or and you cannot answer, then they're going to wonder, did you actually do that? Or did you just put it in your portfolio to beef it up and look good on paper?
Right. Right. All right. So, thanks, Dennis. Hey, thank you for. Okay, Dennis has a second question. Thanks, Dennis, for engaging us. I'm not sure whether I know you personally. Okay, if not, you can say hi. But anyway, my daughter is quiet, soft-spoken, and usually shy. Just wondering how to brand her.
Okay, so this is okay. So one thing about personal branding is it's not something that can be done just like that. It is a process, and sometimes with our clients, it takes 3 to 4 coaching sessions to even just touch the surface of who they are, and it is over, let's say, a couple of weeks that we then start to really understand. Um, who the client is, and sometimes the coach has to have a skill in digging out the information and getting to know the person. It's a bit like a counseling relationship, to be honest. And then over time, and as the client gets more confident and it gets more involved in building that portfolio to add activities to build the personal brand, then maybe your daughter might come out of her shell.
Right. So it takes a personal touch and time to open up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
building a personal brand is not something that happens overnight. It is definitely a process.
All right. So speaking of which, I'm also curious because I do understand from what you mentioned that no, building a personal brand is about selling yourself. You are the salesman of yourself. So meaning to say, am I right to say that you have to be exhibit some sort of being extrovert to display
Uh,
this?
no, not necessarily. You don't have to be gregarious, or you don't have to have a large personality. It is about identifying what your strengths are, uh, leveraging on those strengths, and you know, being able to market those strengths. So, for example, certain jobs don't require extroverts. Okay, for example,
Right.
accountants don't tend to be extroverts,
Hmm.
right? They tend to be quite introverted and very meticulous. So their personal brand would be maybe somebody who is very detail oriented and very meticulous, and you know, being able
Right.
to churn through data.
Right.
So
Right.
it really depends on what the position is. That's why I say you really need to know the organization. What specifically are they looking for? What qualities do you have that personality fit for the job that you're applying for?
Wow. Okay, he's planning many steps ahead.
Yes.
It's a long shot. But anyway, thanks, Dennis, for bringing up questions. Okay, so continue to engage us. Okay, we appreciate you taking time off to join us tonight. Thank you so much. So before we move on to the next segment, okay, if you like our video, you like what we are doing, okay, for scholarship building, okay, please give us a thumbs up, like the Facebook video or like the YouTube video that you are watching right now. Okay, and continue to keep up with your awesome questions. Okay, we will move on to the last tip. So, Seraphine, what do you have for us for the last tip?
Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is choosing meaningful and strategic activities. Now, what I mean by that is there is no point in being involved in tons of activities every weekend, thinking that they are going to add value to your portfolio. It doesn't work that way. It is more important to choose activities that are meaningful. And what do I mean by that? So, for example, if you want to show that your personal brand is about being compassionate, then you would probably volunteer regularly at uh, an old folks' home, and not just go there and sing songs with them, you know, to be really involved on a regular basis, or even volunteering and tutoring uh, disadvantaged youth, or mentoring disadvantaged youth, right? So everything that you do is calculated, because and you want to choose activities that accurately show what your personal brand is. So, for example, if let's say you've got a part-time job um, at a cafe, right? Would you put it in your portfolio? If all you do is, do it as a part-time job, then maybe not. But if you've been promoted and you've been given a supervisory role, then it is good to demonstrate leadership qualities. So don't do something for the sake of doing it. Do it because you genuinely are interested and you want to use it to demonstrate whatever qualities you want to feature in your personal brand. But also, it needs to carry through later on, right? So when you eventually get the scholarship, right? Is it something that you're going to stop immediately? Because you say, oh, I've successfully got my scholarship, I don't need these activities anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah, so it has to come from a genuine place.
Right, right, right. So, Actually, when I was listening to what you mentioned, then because when you sent me the 3 tips, I was like wondering how does this tree comes how what's the interconnectivity part? After going through this, then I realized something really important. It starts from A to C. It's not from the back to the front, right? You have to do the research on the organization first before you match it with your personal brand. Okay, if there's no
Correct.
fit, there is no go, right? After that,
Exactly.
after that, the personal brand you have to fortify or you have to pick activities that match your brand.
Yes.
So having the end goal in mind, in fact, okay, part A is the most important part.
Yes. However, having said that, I think there is a bit of a ding dong between tip two and tip three. Because
Right.
sometimes you really don't know what your personal brand is. Really, you don't. But
Don't know. Right.
it is through the activities and you realize what you find enjoyment in doing. So it's about trying different things, but once you know, okay, this is my personal brand, and then I know what organization I'm going to, so you be very calculated in what you do, right? But obviously it cannot be a case of I'm only going to do this 6 months before. The organization will want to see that there is history in you demonstrating these qualities, right? So one thing that I think is very important right now is how has COVID affected us? And
Mm.
how has COVID affected scholarship applications? And I will
Right,
tell
right,
you
right.
this, because internships are difficult to come by now, because of all the restrictions, does that mean you have then a generation of scholarship applicants who have got no portfolio? So you then need to
The
start thinking of alternatives. Okay, there are so many universities, and now because of COVID, it's given us the opportunity to tap on external universities for experience. Stanford, uh, all the big universities, MIT, they're all offering online courses, online
right.
webinars. So there's a huge opportunity and a huge resource out there that allows you to find alternatives to your internships, right? There are also remote shadowing opportunities. So just Google it, right? And then tap on something that that might be of interest to you and will help bolster your portfolio.
Right. So to sum it up, it's really about the student taking initiative and and being resourceful. Okay,
Exactly.
to seize the opportunities out there right now. It
Yes.
doesn't mean that COVID means no more opportunities. It means that
Yes.
opportunities are probably more disguised. Okay, but if you
Yes.
can uncover them, okay, you have struck gold lah.
Mm.
Right, right, right. Okay, so these are very meaningful activities, or rather sharing that Seraphine has shared. Okay, so ABC. Okay, these are the 3 tips that Seraphine has shared earlier on. Quickly sum up: research the organization, identifying your personal brand, okay, and picking your strategic activities to engage in. It seems to me like the second part, or identifying your personal brand is the strongest. You need to know yourself, who you are, and what kind of organization that you want to work with in the future, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Seraphine, okay, maybe, okay, if you have time, okay, or rather, is there a actual case study of of a student you have helped that have actively proactively activated the 3 tips that you have shared earlier on?
Yes. So I have a client who is applying for scholarship, and whatever tips we have discussed, he has actively pursued. So he has ended up registering himself for online courses with various universities, and he's doing one every 2 months while he's in national service. And he also has little pet projects that he has initiated to showcase his talents in the subject that he is going to pursue. So it's something that he's got another year and a half to build on, and he is doing it diligently. He's taking 2 years to prep his portfolio.
Wow. So, am I right to say that this applicant is a first year student, a JC1 this year?
No, he's in national service.
Oh, national service, right?
So he's doing all this while juggling national service.
Right. This is something that I did not foresee. So, yes, okay, I think NS candidates have a slight advantage, right? Because of the 2 years buffer that they are given.
Yes and no. It really depends on the vocation that they've been assigned to. So if you're in OCS, for example, my goodness, the responsibilities in national service are a lot. It's heavy duty. So where are you going to squeeze that time to go and, build your portfolio? Unless, of course, you use your experience in national service so you've got that leadership aspect, right, from national service, or see what else you can tap on from national service. We've also heard of people who, after national service, take a gap year, go and work, get the relevant experience, and then go start building the scholarship application. So different people have different approaches. There's no right or wrong. It's really what is comfortable for you.
Right. So I almost forgot. Okay, timing of scholarship. Okay, because it seems to me that there are different scholarships that have different application dates, right? Some of them, even for the NS guys, they can apply during their active days and
then get a deferment.
Right. So maybe you can share with our audiences briefly. Okay, what are the time periods or what kind of scholarship have and the window to apply?
Okay, so usually the application is March, April.
Right.
Might even be as early as February. So you have to go do your homework, check the websites. The information is all there. Look ahead and always plan at least 6 to 9 months in advance, so that you have time to go build on, your portfolio, build on identifying your personal brand, and then, then it's not a mad rush to get your application in.
So for instance, okay, if this is May already, coming June, so the students may have already missed out this year's application, right?
Yes, correct.
So if they unfortunately miss out this year's application, does it mean that they can take time off for these 6 to 9 months, like what you have mentioned, to build their personal brand and apply next year?
Well, it depends on when they are starting school.
Right.
So do they already have a place? And if they are able to go into their first year without a scholarship and pay on their own, there are scholarships out there that allow you to apply for second and third year funding.
Right.
So just because you missed the boat in the first year doesn't mean it's completely a no-no for you. You can always look for scholarships that can start in the second or third year.
Right. So Seraphine, it seems to me like the NS guys, okay, putting aside their vocation, because of the 2 years, they seem to have like a slight advantage because they can apply later, so they can start to build their portfolio.
Either they can apply later, or if they didn't get it the first time, they've got another year to try.
One more chance.
Yes, and we've had clients like that.
Right. Well, so to the NS boys out there, you guys are in the money, yeah. Okay, so make sure you don't squander your NS time. Okay, so like what Seraphine has mentioned, actively apply the 3 tips. So Dennis has another question though. Okay, so Dennis, okay, are there any limits to scholarship that one can apply? Be asking on behalf of the daughter. Yep.
So I'm assuming that you mean if you apply for one scholarship, does that mean you can apply for another? Is that your understanding, Jeffrey?
I would think so. If not, Dennis can clarify. If not, we'll address based on this question first.
Okay, so I think I think it is important that you don't use a one size fits all when it comes to any application, whether it is your course application or your scholarship application. The reason being, you should customize everything. So your portfolio, your
Right.
personal brand needs to be customized specific to the organization.
Right.
So it's going to take a lot of time and effort to do that. So it isn't realistic to, let's say, send out 10 scholarship applications because they need to be customized, unless, of course, that's what you have time and energy to do. So I would recommend to be more strategic and be very sure that the organization is the right fit before making a decision to send out, okay, I'm just going to do one and then I'm going to send in the same application for all, because sometimes the personal statement or the essay question is different.
Right.
So then it has to be tweaked accordingly.
All right. So Dennis, I hope you have got your answer. It's about being laser focused on the organization that your girl wants to try and cater to the organization's need. Okay, we don't recommend a one size fit all solution. Right. Okay. So thanks for asking, Dennis. If you have any more questions, okay, please shoot them. Okay, because we are going to wrap up the series. So Seraphine, okay, we would like to wrap up this session, okay, by having your message, okay, to the current A-level students. Okay, what is your advice, okay, for them?
So it's tough, right? I think it's important that okay, to be honest, I think at your age, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? But if you do know what you want to do, you are definitely ahead of the curve, right? So if you have the opportunity to figure it out early, then definitely do that, because it will give you an added advantage. And plan and strategize and be very calculated in everything that you do for your future. So that is my advice.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Seraphine. So now, okay, it is your turn, Seraphine, to share with the parents and students out there, okay, who you can help and who you are looking for.
So if you feel that you need somebody to guide you in your university applications or your scholarship applications, or even if you need some career guidance, right, to help you crystallize what your plans are, then Aureus Consulting definitely will have the expertise to help you with that. So feel free to contact our office, and one of our sales team will definitely be able to advise on the best type of help that you need. So
Right.
yeah.
I will probably drop the link for Aureus Consulting under the comment segment shortly. So stay tuned for parents and students who are interested. So I'd just like to put it on air and on the record again that this episode is not sponsored by Aureus Consulting by any means. Okay, it's really just to let the parents and the students know what are the choices that they have and what are the tips that they can do right now to establish a head start, okay, for their scholarship application. All right. So thank you for sharing who you're looking for. So we'd like to come to an end. Okay, and once again, okay, if you like our community series, please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive latest updates on upcoming interviews. So next week, okay, we'll be inviting we'll be talking about the topic of how to cope with your teenage child during HBL period. So we'll be inviting a family counselor, okay, to share with us, to share with parents specifically, okay, how do they cope, okay, in this mini lockdown 24/7 together with your teenager child. So having said that, okay, thank you for joining us this evening. Okay, we appreciate you taking time off. And we will see you next week. Okay, and thank you. Goodbye.